Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our preview and predictions for Elimination Chamber 2014.
Absolutely. I cannot wait for this show. It is going to be epic.
I don't know what you're sighing about, man. This card looks loaded.
Dude, abso-freaking-lutely.
It's so funny because I was talking to the one guy at work who is a wrestling fan who I like to talk to every now and then because he's one of the few people that I get along, well, I get along with everybody, but one of the few people that I actually like talking to during the time that I work. As some of you may know, I work third shift, and it's kind of weird because not very many people work at that time. But yeah, regardless, I was talking to him, and I said, oh yeah, Elimination Chamber looks good. There are one or two really cool matches, and no, never mind, there's one really crappy match, Batista Del Rio. So do you want to talk about that first once we get done talking about the pre-show match?
Absolutely.
Okay, then, I mean, are you ready? Do you want to get right into it, or do you have any
Dude, let's get right into it, man. It's here. It's now.
So you don't have any, like, umbrella comments regarding the show overall, or?
Dude, I'm just stoked for this, man. This is the road to WrestleMania. Certain superstars going into this show are looking so legit and like such monsters. I can't wait to really see their careers blossom at this pay-per-view. This is what the road to WrestleMania is all about. Dude, like I said, it's here, it's now. It's Elimination Chamber preview and predictions. Let's get right into it.
All right, let's get right into it with our Elimination Chamber kickoff match. Goldust and Cody Rhodes versus Ryback.
I'm going to come right out and say it. I think what makes this match noteworthy is we're finally going to see the dissolution of the Rhodes brothers. What do you think, guys?
I could definitely see that happening. I have to question, though, if the WWE considers Goldust versus Cody Rhodes to be a big enough storyline to actually get a spot at WrestleMania.
I'm going to say yes, they would, considering how they came together to begin with in such an emotionally charged way.
Right.
You know WWE would play off that fact, like, why could insert brother who turned on other brother here? You know, how could he do this? After everything they've been through, they won the tag titles together. They were such a dominant team. How could this happen? And you know that story. Unlike other stories, though, I really think this could be successful, and they could have a great singles match at WrestleMania. Plus, it would give so much credibility to Ryback, so it was already kind of established a reputation somewhat of breaking up tag teams. After all, their decimation of primetime players led to their breakup. So,
right.
you know, Ryback...
You know what? I didn't even think about that, but you're right.
So Ryback can break up two teams for two and really look legit in this pre-show. As far as the match itself is concerned, I'm expecting a solid outing. I'm a huge fan of both teams. Love how they both work. But ultimately, I do feel like the sun is setting on the Rhodes brothers' time in the spotlight in the tag division. I think Ryback is taking the reins from here on out. So Ryback for the win.
Yeah, I'll say I like Cody Rhodes and Goldust. I love Ryback. They are awesome. Great chemistry on the mic. Pretty good in the ring. I mean, Axel is like the technical guy. Ryback's the powerhouse. It works really, really well. To me, what I really look forward to is I am hoping that this match is a way to get Ryback looking strong so that they look legitimate when they face the Ascension on Thursday.
Yeah.
To me, that would be perfect, because to me, I think the Ascension's going to do an open challenge on Thursday, or I guess they've kind of had an open challenge going, but I guess I wasn't paying enough attention to realize that. And I hope that Ryback answers that open challenge on NXT Arrival. Oh, by the way, speaking of which, I should have mentioned this on our episode of Twitwell for SmackDown. I saw, apparently, NXT Arrival is indeed 2 hours. It's from 8 to 10 p.m.
Oh, wow, okay. Sweet.
Yeah. I saw somebody posted on Reddit a schedule for the WWE Network's first week, and NXT Arrival was from 8 to 10.
That's going to be epic.
And it even got like a 30-minute pre-show, so that's a thing, too.
Wow. Really glad they're getting an abundance of time. They definitely deserve it. But
the pre-show is going to be like freaking Mason Ryan versus Jason Jordan in a squash.
Poor Jason.
I'm joking. I don't actually know what the pre-show is going to be. I'm just saying, because like the pre-show is always the least important match on the card, so I figured they would just throw a random squash match into theirs because NXT is like that next stage down, so their pre-show would naturally be even worse than pay-per-view pre-shows.
Right.
So yeah, I think we agree Ryback to win.
Absolutely.
All right, awesome. Hopefully they do that, and then they get to face the Ascension on Thursday. So now let's just get right into the crap. Batista versus Del Rio. Nobody cares. Batista's winning. Let's move on.
Yeah, really, you could sum it up just like that. I think Batista has been absolutely atrocious since he's come back. I just really haven't been able to get invested into him at all. Combine that with the fact that, he's facing Alberto Del Rio, who we have consistently said, while I find very entertaining from an in-ring perspective, there is just this huge disconnect between him and the audience. And, John Cena said recently on Stone Cold's podcast that the worst thing a superstar can hear is silence. That's what I believe Del Rio hears most of the time. I don't really hear him get a lot of boos. So, to me, something is seriously wrong. And you know what? I don't care about this match. To me, Del Rio's just being fed to Batista as a way of saying, yeah, Batista is definitely ready. All systems are go on his road to WrestleMania, and that's pretty much it. Win after the Batista bomb. Batista's going on to the main event of WrestleMania.
Absolutely. Batista, and to me, the only thing that they could do to make this match actually worth watching is to have it be a squash match, but not a 30-second squash, like a dragged out 5-minute squash match where Batista has control the entire time and talks a lot of trash to Del Rio.
Yeah, you want something similar yet different to what we got between Brock Lesnar and Big Show at Royal Rumble.
Exactly. Or even what we got between like John Cena and John Laurinaitis for Extreme Rules 2013, I think, or 12.
Right. I see what you're saying.
It's just like one guy dominating the entire time. Maybe Del Rio gets in a hope spot, if that, and just the whole time Batista's yelling, oh, you're going to call me out now? What are you going to do now? Like the whole time, just Batista constantly trash-talking, like basketballs don't hold grudges, just constantly the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, they might as well book it that way with how he really roughed Del Rio up after powerbombing him through the announce table on, it was like 2 weeks ago, that episode of Raw. And then Del Rio was selling it the week after. He was selling it on the Go Home Raw episode, and then Batista shoved him into some equipment, making it worse. He really should be able to ragdoll him. I just fear, though, that we're going to get an actual match. It's going to see Del Rio working over the arm, and there's going to be a cross arm breaker spot, which Batista's going to muscle through. He's either going to power down with one arm, or he's actually going to get to the rope one way or the other. It's not going to be the end of the match.
He's going to literally turn the cross arm breaker into a Batista bomb.
That's what I'm thinking, honestly. That's what I think the finishing sequence of this match will be, and really all this match will amount to is just the biggest prolonging of the inevitable, which is a Batista victory. So,
yeah, Batista wins. Moving on. Let's talk about the next least relevant match on this show: Titus O'Neil versus Darren Young.
Oh man. I'm only looking forward to this match to really see if Darren Young can beat Titus O'Neil, and if, it's going to be his push that we're really watching unfold here. I gotta say, when tag teams split, I'm always tentative about their feuds. Most recently, as far back as my memory will take me, JTG and Shad. Really wasn't looking forward to their feud when Crime Time split up. I'll even be honest, I didn't like the matches that Edge and Christian had when they split up. I thought that they were good, but nothing really too excellent, all things considered. I never really thought their feud got legs. So I'm always tentative when a tag team splits, because it's either going to really soar or it's going to bomb. Right now, this is looking like the latter, but if Darren Young comes out looking stronger, then I'll say that this feud definitely did some good.
I kind of have to wonder if it's a superior way to book if you have two guys fighting each other, then forming a tag team, or being in a tag team for a long time and then turning on each other. Because while the latter seems to make more sense from a logic perspective, the former almost works better from an in-ring perspective.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would agree. It's difficult because look at the team we're dealing with. Look at the team that dissolved. Primetime players. And to me, I could never really get invested in them. I don't think you could either. I don't know about mainstream audiences. Maybe they did have this connection. I felt like towards the tail end of their run, ironically enough,
I know for a fact that people were invested in PTP because there were people on Facebook and Reddit alike calling for them to get a title shot.
Right.
Because there were people talking about how they got robbed for that one Slammy for, I guess it was chant of the year or catchphrase of the year, something like that, because of the millions of dollars thing. And it's basically they were over because they were charismatic to a degree.
Right, absolutely. And you could definitely see, and like I was saying, towards the tail end of the run especially, I think that connection really was.
But then again, at the same time, there are also people that like The Miz and Alberto Del Rio, and it's just, it's different strokes for different folks.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, to me, they seemed like they were getting stronger towards the end of their run, and then Titus just beats down Darren Young. And, they never got a tag team championship reign under their belt. They never really got that one standout moment to me where it's like, yeah, these guys, they really are a great team. So for me, it was hard to forge that emotional connection with them when the dissolution inevitably was going to occur. That said, from an in-ring perspective, what will this match be like? Well, Darren's a good worker. There's no doubt about it. It's Titus I'm more worried about. The best thing that guy is going for him is his finisher, which he calls the Clash of the Titus. Get it? It's supposed to be Titans, but it's really Titus. No.
I get it now.
Yeah. But in the end, who am I picking to win? See, you've really been starting to convince me because you said repeatedly on Twitter that this is really about Darren Young. So I think I'm going to go with Darren Young beating Titus O'Neil.
And that's what I've been screaming from the rooftops, and I'm going to stick by it here. And knowing our luck, because of me, we are both now wrong.
Well, at least you kind of sense it coming, potentially. So, yeah, Darren Young. I wonder what his finisher will be. I don't think he's established a finisher as a singles competitor, has he?
I think it's a full Nelson something.
Yeah, that's right. His full Nelson slam that he does. I wonder if he can realistically do that to Titus. But then again, if Aiden English can lift Colin Cassidy off the ground,
yeah, exactly,
anything's possible.
Yeah. He calls it the Heat Wave, a full Nelson lift. Full Nelson lifted and oh no, that's right. He has that fireman's carry double knee buster or no, double knee gut buster.
That's right too. So he has those two things. Yeah. Definitely see.
I think the gut check is the more recent one actually.
Right.
Because I think that the full Nelson flapjack thing was more of like an NXT finisher for him.
Right. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. So agreed that Darren Young wins. And let's move on to something more relevant, something that actually involves a title. I'll let you pick, tag or Intercontinental.
Let's do Intercontinental.
Okay, Big E Langston versus Jack Swagger, and I think this is interesting because we actually might disagree on this match. Might.
I am so conflicted about this. And in fact, in all honesty, this is probably the match that I'm most conflicted about right next to
and see, right there, that is where we do disagree. Because to me, it's set in stone Big E is going to retain, but you're really conflicted about this.
I'm conflicted because I can see this going two avenues. Either A, Big E puts it on lockdown, as you said before we started recording, and he faces, please, Mark Henry as a heel. Please, Mark Henry as a heel at WrestleMania. Either that, or he's unifying the championships with the United States champion, whoever that may be. Which right now it's Dean Ambrose, so that's a whole nother interesting scenario. Or another scenario that I even proposed on Tweetov and that did garner some support. Jack Swagger wins in an upset. Zeb Coulter does get one victory under his belt, and ultimately we see Jack Swagger taking on Antonio Cesaro, the dissolution of the Real Americans between now and WrestleMania for the Intercontinental Championship, with Zeb Coulter in the corner of Jack Swagger, because you go where the championship gold is. And so just maybe, Zeb turns on Swagger in that match. Maybe.
He costs Swagger the title and realigns himself with Cesaro because he knows that Cesaro has the brighter future.
That could be true, too. He could turn on him, and then Swagger could be left in a state of disbelief. It would... look bad for Big E, though, because he is supposed to be this dominant babyface who shouldn't have help from anybody. So if he was going to turn on him, it would definitely have to be in the post-match. Maybe just kind of slap.
No. I'm talking about the Swagger Cesaro match that you're booking for.
Yeah, that could work too. I mean, it's Mania, so anything is possible. Anything is possible.
Right.
I do expect a good match between these two, though, honestly. I agree with a lot of commentators that seem to say that this is going to be like the under-the-radar kind of matchup, the underrated match of the night, because I've always been a fan of Swagger, even at his worst, and Big E is just so entertaining. I think these guys could put on a good match. I could see them getting a solid 8 to 10 minutes, and hopefully, they could really do something good within that time. Who do I pick to win? You know what? I want some extra time, so I want your analysis on this matchup. And then by the time you're done, I'll have a prediction.
To me, they just kind of did this to give Big E something to do at the pay-per-view because I guess they decided they didn't want to give him a chamber match like we were hoping. And to me, the reason they didn't give him a chamber match is because they wanted all the attention to be on the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, and they didn't want another chamber match to steal the spotlight knowing who is in the WWE World Titles Elimination Chamber match, namely guys like Cena, Orton, Sheamus, guys that the crowd is kind of going to consider to be less than exciting.
Right, I think it's a travesty, personally, that the Intercontinental Championship didn't get its own Elimination Chamber, because WWE, especially recently with the launch of their network, has always been known to be a revolutionary company, and having a mid-card championship contested in one of your most infamous structures, the Elimination Chamber, would have done such great things for Big E Langston as the champion and his 5 respective, contenders. I'm really disappointed they didn't go that route. That being said, though, again, I do expect a solid match, and I've come to a decision, because I played it safe with the Darren Young-Titus O'Neil match, I'm going to go with the upset here. I say Jack Swagger becomes the new Intercontinental Champion. I feel it.
Hey, this is something that we do disagree on, because to me, Big E has this on lockdown, like I've said already.
Hey, you know what, man? When you look back to our last set of predictions at Royal Rumble, I did pretty good there. Elimination Chamber could be your night, because, I am taking the risk, and it just might torpedo me here. So, Jack
or
Swagger
at this point, either I'm going to be 2-0 and you're going to be 1-1, or I'm going to be 0-2 and you're going to be 1-1.
Right. Yeah.
So we shall see. Although then again, so I guess it would actually be because we agreed on the Ryback thing. So
right, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm not gonna do that math just because I want to move on and get this thing moving. Tag team championships. The New Age Outlaws versus the Usos. And you know what? I was gonna say I think we can agree on this, but I want to get a gauge. Are you feeling the New Age Outlaws winning this?
I am, unfortunately.
Okay, yeah. New Age Outlaws win this so that the Usos can get their rematch at Mania and win the titles then.
Yeah, it just seems really... I don't want to use the word obvious, but that's the best word that comes to mind. Obvious that the New Age Outlaws are going to go over. I mean, the Usos have all of the momentum. I'm talking all of it. I haven't seen the New Age Outlaws make any kind of headway and really slowing down the Usos. So at Chamber, either it's going to be a DQ finish where the Usos win but they don't walk away with the championships, or they are going to get that dirty victory, grabbing the tights, foreign object, just something where they capitalize, and then the Usos earn contendership for Mania, and then we have the WrestleMania rematch. But yeah, they're not winning it here. No way.
Exactly. I agree with you wholeheartedly. It's basic storytelling. You make the babyface team look like they are clearly the better wrestlers, the better athletes, the better performers, and then you pull the wool out, or pull the rug out from under them by having the Outlaws cheat or get a sneaky, veteran, savvy type win in some way, maybe a quick roll-up or something, and then the Usos either automatically get a rematch because of the disqualification or have to work their way back to the titles because of losing via roll-up or something cheap like that. And then when the Usos finally do get the win, it means more than if they would have just been handed the titles here.
Right, absolutely, dude. Completely agree with you.
All right, well then, you know what? We can move on. We only have 2 matches left to discuss, and they're the 2 biggest matches on the card, so I'm going to let you pick which one we talk about first, and which one we close the show out with.
You know what? Since you gave me that power, I'm going to use it the way I believe it's intended to be used. We're going to talk about the Elimination Chamber match, and then we're going to talk about the show stealer at the end. How does that sound?
That works for me, man. And you know what? I know it's never going to happen, but I hope that this is the actual card order, too, because we know what the real main event of this show is.
Yeah, dude. Everybody and their freaking mother knows what the real main event of this show is. So that's why I want to discuss it this way, dude, because you and I have been waiting for that six-man since both of these teams really came together. So yeah, let's discuss the Chamber and then the six-man tag.
Absolutely. So let's discuss the Chamber first. We kind of decided earlier on in the year not to do a Road to WrestleMania commentary, and with that we also decided to do a couple of extra little things at each pay-per-view during either the preview and predictions and or the live reactions. So for this one, I want us to predict literally step by step who is going to enter at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and who's going to get eliminated first, second, third, fourth, and then last.
Oh, wow. So do you want me to go first to start this off?
I would tell you what, I want you to go first in predicting the order that they enter, then I'll do my entrance order prediction, then you do your elimination order prediction, and then I'll do my elimination order prediction. So yeah, go ahead with your entrance order prediction.
That sounds fantastic. I say Bryan and Cesaro start this matchup off. The first pod to be opened, aka the third entrant, will be Christian. Fourth entrant will be Sheamus. Fifth entrant will be Cena. And the final entrant will be Randy Orton.
So you do believe that Christian is going to make it to this match alive?
Honestly, no, but I didn't want to say it because I didn't want to spoil how we thought that this match was going to turn out right away, especially because that was your idea from the outset.
Okay, so you think that either Christian or Christian's replacement will be in their third then?
Yes, I do stand by that, absolutely.
Okay, I understand. All right. My entrance order, I am going to say 1 and 2 are going to be Cesaro and Sheamus.
Wow, that's an awesome matchup, yes!
I'm going to say Bryan comes in third.
Okay.
Christian or his replacement to come in fourth. Cena fifth, Orton sixth. So we have the same 5 and 6. We just have a different 1 through 4.
Very interesting that you and I seem to think that Orton's going to be the last one released, and he could definitely benefit from the advantage, given that he's only beaten one of his Chamber opponents.
Actually, you know what? You're going to hate this because you like that idea of the first two so much, but I'm actually going to switch John Cena and Sheamus. I'm going to have Cesaro and Cena open this match up. That's
fine with me. No, I don't hate that at all, even though I love the idea of Cesaro Sheamus, and I believe that those two should have a feud at some point. Cesaro Sheamus Cesaro Cena after the clinic they put on Monday ain't gonna get any quips from me.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Cesaro Cena open up because here's my thing. I feel like the most sense, if we're really buying into the idea that the Authority has full control for the first two guys in, would be Cena and Bryan, because Cena and Bryan are the two guys that the Authority hates most in this match.
Right.
So if we're going from a pure, I believe in the Authority and their control over everything standpoint, I would say Cena and Bryan open, and then maybe like Christian, Cesaro, Sheamus, Orton, or like Christian, Sheamus, Cesaro, Orton, depending on who the Authority likes more between Cesaro and Sheamus. I don't know.
Right.
But I don't think that makes sense because Cena and Bryan, first of all, that's a frickin' money match in the future. And second of all, that's babyface versus babyface, and the crowd wouldn't buy into it.
Right.
And then if you try and introduce a heel, they would be able to double team him.
Yeah, absolutely. So it definitely needs to be a heel-face dynamic. Yeah, I like the pairing of Cesaro Cena to start. I think that's a great idea.
Okay, and your elimination order. Just to remind you, in case you kind of threw it out there willy-nilly and don't remember your exact entrance order, you have Bryan and Cesaro opening the Chamber, followed by Christian, Sheamus, Cena, and then Orton entering last.
Okay, I see Christian getting eliminated first, or his replacement. I then see Sheamus getting eliminated. I then see John Cena getting eliminated. So then that's 3. So that leaves only 3 left. That leaves Orton, Bryan, Cesaro. I then see... Oh, God. I see Cesaro getting eliminated, although I really want to contest that. And then I see Orton getting eliminated last, or Daniel Bryan getting the win and becoming the new WWE World Heavyweight Champion.
Very interesting. Okay.
Oh, that was painful to do towards the end because I really don't know. Curious about what you have to say, though, dude.
Okay, so Cesaro and Cena open the match.
Right.
Bryan comes in, and he and Cena are double-teaming Cesaro briefly, but then when Cesaro's down and out, Bryan starts going after Cena, because Bryan is more focused on winning the title than Cena is, because Cena is just happy to be there at this point. He doesn't give a crap about the title anymore. He's a 13 or 14-time champion. He does not give a crap. So Bryan starts going after Cena. The crowd probably will still cheer for Bryan in this case, but eventually Cesaro comes in, and we get Bryan and Cesaro teaming up on Cena.
Okay.
So I could see that. I could see that happening. It wouldn't last very long because eventually they would toss Cena out and then Bryan would go back after Cesaro, or Cesaro would go back after Bryan, which is more likely. But then I could see... I think... See, here's my thing. I think that Kane is going to replace Christian in the Chamber. Because Christian... When was the last time this guy won a match?
Dude, I don't even know. I think the last time he won a match was actually getting into the Chamber. Well, actually, no. Last time he won a match was with Sheamus against the Real Americans in a tag team match.
Okay, well, there you go. But regardless, he hasn't beaten anybody in the Chamber. And I think that the Authority is going to look at that as an opportunity to make Randy Orton better, as Triple H would say, and replace Christian with Corporate Kane. So
Right.
I do think that Kane, and when I have Christian there at number 4, I do think that will be Kane. I think that Cesaro and Cena open, then Bryan, then Kane, immediately after Bryan, just by luck, because, that's not totally controlled or contrived at all. So yeah, Kane comes out, and he and Cesaro end up eliminating Cena. And it's down to Cesaro, Bryan, and Kane. And then right as Cena's getting eliminated... So yeah, I have Cena getting eliminated first, if you can believe that.
Wow.
Then Sheamus comes out. And Sheamus and Bryan versus Kane and Cesaro. I hate to do this to you. Actually, you know what? Yeah, I'll go with that. I hate to do this to you, John, but Cesaro gets eliminated second.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So then it comes down to Bryan, Sheamus, and Kane. And this allows Bryan and Sheamus to double team Kane a bit, just until Orton comes out, because then it's 1-on-1, well, 2-on-2, I guess, but it's 2 sets of 1-on-1. You get the idea. So
Right.
it would be Orton versus Sheamus and Bryan versus Kane. Eventually, I would see Sheamus getting eliminated, so he would be third. Sheamus third, and then Bryan would eliminate Kane.
Right.
And then Kane, after being eliminated, would get up, team up with Randy Orton and beat the living crap out of Bryan, allowing for Orton to get the easy elimination on Bryan. Orton wins and retains the title.
I mean, I just want to say 2 things very quickly now that we've established this. To me, this match has 2 purposes. The first one being blatantly obvious. It's to set up the main event for WrestleMania 30. We already have one half with Batista. That's indisputable. He won the Royal Rumble. No matter if anybody likes it or doesn't like it, he's going to be a part of it. So that, is incontestable. So now we just need to set up the champion. Who's going to be the champion? But the second purpose that this serves, at least in my mind, is to really make Cesaro look even more legitimate than he has been the past few weeks, and that's why I have him in the final 3. Heck, to be honest, there's a part of me that believes he's going to make the final 2. I could see him really stealing the show in this Chamber, and that's why, quite honestly, you don't shock me very often. You blow my mind in a good way with your booking and stuff a lot of the time, but This is probably the first time I've ever really been shocked by your thought pattern, because I really can't see Cesaro getting eliminated this early. Not after all.
Okay, then let me do this. Can I set up an alternate universe version of my booking?
Sure.
Okay. So, alternate universe, this doesn't actually count. This is just my, darts at a wall hoping something sticks.
Right.
Booking. We open with Orton Bryan. Okay.
That sounds good. Yeah.
We open with Orton Bryan, and Bryan eliminates Orton before entrant number 3 even gets out of his pod.
Wow, see, now that I could buy because of the downward spiral Orton's been on.
Bryan hits the knee to the face 3.5 to 4.5 minutes into the match, and then leads the crowd in yes chants until the third person comes in.
I could see that. And for those that can't see it, just remember that when Edge was WWE Champion and in a feud with Jeff Hardy eliminated him within the first few minutes of that Elimination Chamber that year. What year was that? Was that 2009? I want to say 2009. Edge was going for a spear. Hardy caught him in a cradle, and he pinned him right then and there. And that's how we got Edge interfering in the World Heavyweight Championship Chamber later in the night. So it can happen. And I could definitely see it with the downward spiral Orton's been on as of late.
Okay, so Bryan eliminates Orton before the next guy comes in, and the next guy to come in is indeed Cesaro. So we do get Bryan Cesaro, just not to open the show. It happens to be the second real matchup because Orton's out of the picture already, so we're basically starting the match over with Bryan versus Cesaro and only 3 guys left in pods. So Bryan and Cesaro put on an amazing 5-minute match, and then John Cena comes out. And John Cena, Bryan, and Cesaro do their thing. Up next to come out is Christian. I would have Christian get eliminated before Sheamus even gets out of his pod. Sheamus gets out of his pod. He gets eliminated before anyone else. So in order so far, we have Orton, then Christian, then Sheamus. Even though Christian and Sheamus enter 5th and 6th, they aren't on the same level as Cesaro, Cena, and Bryan at this point. Then
right.
I would have an upset where I'm going to say Cesaro eliminates John Cena.
That would be epic, and that's what James and Abel, I think, have both really wanted Cesaro to get one big-time elimination, and Cena could be it.
And then we get a repeat of our SmackDown match, except without the Kane disqualification, and Bryan nails Cesaro with the running knee to the face to win the title.
And see, I'm cool with that. I'm not looking for Cesaro to win the championship, guys. I mean, as big as of a mark of Cesaro as I've become, it's not about him winning the championship. It's about him owning the chamber. And believe me, there is a distinct difference.
The only flip-flop that I would be willing to do with this is Christian and Sheamus, because to me they're interchangeable at this point.
Right, absolutely. No,
I could see Sheamus at 5, Christian at 6. I could see Sheamus at 6, Christian at 5. It doesn't really matter. Those 2 guys are basically irrelevant to the outcome of this match. They're just there because WWE wanted 2 guys, and I could say 2 guys that look legitimate, but they didn't even get that. They got 1 guy that looks legitimate, and then Christian.
Right, yeah, definitely. To me, what I really want for Cesaro is I want him to have a couple of holy crap moments, and I would like to see him get one, because I've been talking about this again extensively with Abel and James. I want to see him get at least one big-time elimination, either off of Sheamus, Orton, or Cena. He clearly can eliminate Bryan because he's my pick to win the whole thing, but one of those 3 guys. And really, he could do Cena because honestly, and this will be because I guess we're winding down on this matchup, I definitely see the Wyatt family interfering and screwing Cena out of the championship.
Exactly. And you know what? I was actually going to say Wyatt family music hits. They start walking down the ring. Cena gets distracted, eats a knee to the face. Then Cesaro gets rid of Bryan, maybe throws him outside of the ring, and he lands on the steel grate. And then Cesaro neutralizes, literally uses the Gotch neutralizer on Cena to pin him.
Dude, please WWE do it. Cesaro has been looking like an
And I mean, if we're being perfectly honest, we wouldn't even need Cesaro to use the neutralizer. You could just have Bryan hit the knee to the face, Cesaro throws him out of the ring, pins Cena for the 3 count.
Yeah, you wouldn't need that, but for Cesaro, it's a matter of ego. We've even said, he's that, really prideful,
That is true. I mean, look at SmackDown. He wouldn't let Daniel Bryan get out of the ring. He ended up nailing the neutralizer on him, even though Kane was the one that cost him the match.
Exactly. So for Cesaro, he would want to be able to brag that my neutralizer put John Cena away. It had nothing to do with your knee. It had nothing to do with the Wyatts. It was all me.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't really matter because to me, I see him really being, and I hate to always go back to these people. I know it's like a circle jerk, but I really see him playing the Morrison role, not necessarily for the ridiculous spots, but I could see Cesaro being the guy, Ashton, that the longer he stays in that chamber, the more the crowd gets behind him to win. Because he is so fun to watch.
Right.
And I could see him definitely getting over within that chamber. And then when he gets, like, maybe a hope spot on Orton, maybe like a Swiss death or something really ridiculous, like they gasp, and then when he kicks out, it's like, oh, and they really get behind him towards the tail end of his performance in the chamber. I'm looking for his career to really be made in this structure this Sunday.
You know what's really ironic?
What's that, dude?
My fantasy world booking is actually looking better than my realistic booking right now.
Well, no, see, like, the only qualm I had with your realistic booking was the ousting of Cesaro just so early. Again, not that I expect him to win, but I just really expect him to be a beast. I could see Orton getting eliminated first, though, honestly. And that's really how bad
Yeah,
Orton's
to me,
look.
that to me is the realistic part, is Orton getting eliminated first, Cena getting eliminated by Cesaro, Bryan winning the title. Those three elements are the three things that make my fantasy booking look on paper like it could actually happen.
I mean, I'm going to be honest with you, dude. Orton is looking so bad at this point in my eyes that even if you wouldn't want it to be like a really decisive elimination with a knee to the face, I could buy Orton falling to a backslide counter after an RKO attempt.
Right.
Like, goes for an RKO. Oh, wait, backslide, 1, 2, 3, and then he reacts too late. And then, like, all these people in their pods are laughing at him. They're laughing at you, Orton. They're
laughing at you, Bo.
Yeah,
I miss Leo Kruger now.
I do too. And yeah, as you said, Bryan just got this huge troll smile on his face. Orton's looking like he's about to, just go into a stroke, and Bryan's just like, yep, that happened. And then he leads him into yes chants. It's just, I don't know. It's funny because Cena and Orton are the guys touted as the biggest guys in the company, and yet I can see them having the least amount of time in the chamber. Very interesting.
Definitely interesting. So do we want to move on, or is there anything else that we would like to say regarding the chamber match itself?
Did you give you gave an official lock, right? You see Orton retaining?
My original realistic prediction was Orton retaining. My fantasy prediction was Bryan winning.
Okay, so you're sticking with that, though, even after mulling it all over.
Yep.
All right, then my prediction is Bryan winning, so that's a second match where you and I really have contention. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and you're going to win that one. So let's go ahead and move on and talk about the real main event of the evening, the Wyatt family versus the Shield.
Dude, I almost feel like I wouldn't be doing this match justice by starting it. I mean, you've been following the careers of pretty much all these guys since FCW, so why don't you start with how you feel about this match?
This is... Now you build me up and make me feel like there's too much pressure, man. I need an adult.
I'm so sorry. I just wanted to give you your props because you're awesome.
Well, I don't know what to say, though. That's the thing. Like, I feel like they should have put more effort into building this match up as a WrestleMania match and not blowing it off at a random freaking chamber.
You know what? That is one point where you and I definitely agree. That's the only crime about this whole thing is its venue. Because to me, this story to me is almost inspiring to a degree because Bray Wyatt, I even wrote into somebody, I said to go from Husky Harris to this is just incredible. And then you look at the guys, Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns specifically, they started out in the NXT system, and then they became a part of the Shield, and Dean Ambrose, who you were clamoring for. We would have episodes of TwitWow, and you'd be like, it's going to be coming soon. It's got to be coming soon. Him and McFoley trading barbs, him and Regal having mentions. You didn't know how he was going to get introduced. And then they come at the Survivor Series, where they just wreck shop and totally destroy Ryback and Cena. And we knew it was going to be something epic. And they would go on to dominate. Hell, they even beat Undertaker in a TV match teaming alongside Kane and Daniel freaking Bryan. You know, you couldn't get any more legit than the Shield. The Wyatt family, again, NXT, Harper and Rowan, NXT Tag Team Champions, with Bray Wyatt, leading the helm. We thought Bray Wyatt was such a unique and interesting character with the dancing and just the mannerisms and the promo cutting. And apparently this guy writes his own promos, which is just insane. So when you have two completely credible and two awe-inspiring entities clashing, the only thing you're gonna get is a moment that reminds you why you're a wrestling fan in the first place.
And all I can say to that is I hope it lives up to it.
And I think it will. I really believe it will. The Shield knows how to do six-man matches and make them exciting. And as you and I got done saying on Twitter, wow, dude, the Wyatt family had a six-man tag tonight with the Rhodes brothers and Rey Mysterio. They know how to play the Shield's game. They know how to be everywhere at once. And my mind is just being liquefied when I think about the finishing sequence of what this match could be.
Do you know what my fantasy booking for this match is?
Lay it on me, dude.
A disqualification so that we can get a bigger no-rules version of it at Mania.
It just feels so wrong that this is not taking place at WrestleMania 30. Like, WrestleMania 30, it's the big...
How long have I been saying now that I want Shield versus Wyatt's at Mania, and I want the Shield's dissolution to take place over the 4 months between Mania and SummerSlam so that we can get that triple threat U.S. title match at SummerSlam?
Yeah, that's been your booking all along. That's been your mindset, and I've readily co-signed onto it because it just feels so right. You know what would be perfect? What's that?
At one point, the match just breaks down and the referee calls for the bell.
Yeah. I mean, you know what? And that's the only reason why, if they were to do a finish like that, this match, I don't think would be able to close the show, which, again, we didn't even anticipate anyway. Again, it's called Elimination Chamber. There's an Elimination Chamber match for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. So, yeah, I could see that happening. I could see an NXT ref warming his way into the match, and then a melee gets a little bit too out of hand, and he calls for the bell. But, yeah, dude, that's the thing. With as excited and as amped up, and you can even, hear it in my voice and just how I'm all over the lot, I am for this match, and I think it's going to steal the show. It just feels so out of place on this card at this venue. I mean, WrestleMania 30 is supposed to be this grand affair in New Orleans, 30 years of...
New Orleans! That's where Bray Wyatt was from before he was from Snakebite, Florida.
Yeah. It just... If you really want to make WrestleMania 30 this grand spectacle, this match, it's almost an imperative that you have this match on your card. And I really do think now that we're just going to get the Shield and a triple threat for the U.S. title, with the only worthwhile consolation prize also being on the side of the Wyatts, Bray Wyatt versus John Cena. Which will be epic, by the way.
I'm just thinking about Bray Wyatt's first FCW promo as Bray Wyatt, with friggin' Eli Cottonwood just randomly standing in the background, talking about how he was from Lafayette, Louisiana, and talking about how his daddy was a shrimp boat fisherman, and he burned his dad's boat down, and he laughed as he watched it burn, and he taught himself to read, and just so good, dude. I want it so bad at Mania.
You look at it, man. You look at the parallels of these two teams, and more specifically, the people at the helm, which I believe to be Bray Wyatt, and unfortunately, as much as I'd love to say Dean Ambrose at this time, it's Roman Reigns. Both guys NXT products, and both guys are now here. I just got the biggest smile on my face when I think about this match. And again, this is going to be chaos personified. If you're expecting a really formal, run-of-the-mill six-man tag, and you're not expecting this to really break down and be crazy at all, you are sorely mistaken, because I don't even really see this match keeping up a formal air for very long.
See, but that's the thing, though, dude. Brawl. It's not a tornado match. It's not a no DQ match. It's not a Falls Count Anywhere match. There are rules. This is a standard 3-on-3 tag team match, which is why I keep on getting this nagging feeling that it's gonna end in a no contest.
Right. I mean,
there are rules. You can't have the Shield versus the Wyatts and Rules in the same match.
It's just, it clashes too violently to work. And to me, I could see that. I could see it being thrown out after a huge melee ensues. I could see, honestly, dude, what I could see, Roman Reigns spearing Luke Harper through the barricade. I could see Seth Rollins nailing his flying knee to Rowan. I could see Dean Ambrose left all alone in the ring with Bray Wyatt. Imagine that pairing, Dean Ambrose and Bray Wyatt.
Two best talkers of this generation, man.
And both just absolutely swimming in their own psychosis and loving it. And then, they go at it, but the referee just finds, like, there's no order here, so he throws it out. Either that, or there's going to be a segment throughout the chamber before this match where we see Triple H talking with somebody, maybe the Shield, maybe somebody else, and he comes to make the edict that Shield versus Wyatt is going to be no holds barred, or just something of that nature that would allow free reign. And if that happens, oh my goodness, you don't even know what Triple H has created. That is opening up Pandora's box.
Yeah, to me, that would be the ideal situation. To me, the ideal situation for this match is no disqualification, no falls count anywhere. So I guess falls count anywhere kind of encompasses everything, doesn't it? That's like no DQ, holds barred, all that stuff. So yeah, falls count anywhere, tornado tag. That's the perfect version of this match.
Definitely. These guys don't need to be shackled by regulations. They don't. Let them go out there and just be the best version of themselves that they can be, and just watch the rest happen. And you can thank them for the money you make later.
I want the match to end with Bray Wyatt sister Abigailing one of these guys into the concrete of the parking lot and getting the pin out there.
Yeah, really. I mean, for it to venture that far outside, man, I really hope we get a WrestleMania rematch if we're not going to get a definitive winner here. But I think, see, that's the thing, though. I do think we're going to get a definitive winner. I love your booking so much.
Oh, no, I agree with you, though, unfortunately. Yeah, and it's going to be the Wyatts to win because Bray needs to look strong for Mania.
The question is, Ashton, do the Wyatts capitalize on a miscue from the Shield, or are they just going to be straight up better than the Shield? That's the question.
I don't know, because I don't think the WWE is concerned with keeping the entire Shield looking strong right now. I think they're only concerned with keeping Roman Reigns looking strong.
Which is really a shame, considering the other two guys are no slouches by any means.
Oh, I'm not arguing that they are.
Right, no, I know.
The WWE, as a booking entity, seems to... That's the problem with them, is they feel like, oh yeah, we can let this guy look really weak now, and then 5 years from now when we decide to use him, we can build him up and people will buy into it. But they don't. And it's a bad move, but the WWE does it all the time.
I wonder if, because they want to turn Roman Reigns babyface, if he'll have the most... See, but that seems so contrary to his character as of late. I would love if Roman Reigns... How can I put this? One of my favorite matches, and I'm going to bring it full circle, I promise. You know I'm good for it, would be Team Austin versus Team Bischoff at the 2004 Survivor Series, and one of the best parts of that match was the struggle of Shawn Michaels to make it work for Team Austin. I want to see Roman Reigns have a similar struggle, where, like, the Wyatts are really humanizing him and beating him down, but he does not quit, and he powers through it. But, I mean, really drag it out and really make it seem like, wow, I've never seen Roman Reigns this vulnerable. I've never seen him in such a bad way. And then maybe he tags in Seth Rollins because they seem to be on such good terms with each other, and Seth Rollins just shows the world what he can do with a flurry of high-flying offense that'll blow your mind. Yeah, that's what I'd really like to see. In the end, I mean, you and I agree on the outcome. Wyatt family is winning this.
Right. I honestly, I think that Bray is going to win by pinning Dean, and that's going to set the course of action going from that point, because that'll be Roman Reigns being like, dang, man, we should have won. It's your fault, Dean. You're the one that got pinned, and they'll do their back and forth, and eventually it'll break down, and they'll start punching each other, and Rollins will try and get in the middle of it, and, cue storyline from there.
And I could see Dean Ambrose just shoving Rollins being done. I think we're going to get two baby faces out of this and one heel, because I just can't see Seth Rollins, seeing as how supportive he's been of Roman Reigns and trying to keep the Shield together, it seems like very babyface tendencies to me. So I think, yeah, we're going to get 2 babyfaces, 1 heel. And as far as the Wyatt family is concerned, this is all about one chief objective, guys. Bray Wyatt is building his empire. And once he clears out the Knights from the opposing empire or the Shield, there's only one thing left, and that's the last standing monarch known as John Cena come WrestleMania. And I cannot wait. Yeah. That's just what it is, dude. He's taking out the Knights.
You said monarch. I just wanted to put it in layman's terms.
Yeah, there you go. The king. That's what it is. And he's going to behead him come WrestleMania. I cannot wait.
Oh, man. The implications for WrestleMania that this card has are almost too deep.
It is, especially because, dude, of the last 2 matches. You could almost make a case that every match in one way or another has WrestleMania implications, but nowhere has it felt more than the 6-man tag and the 6-man elimination chamber.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's going to be something, dude. It really is.
It really, really, really is. And I cannot wait. And I do believe that is the last of the matches. So if you have anything else left to say, go ahead and say it. Otherwise, let's wrap this baby up.
Guys, this is the road to WrestleMania, and it doesn't get any more epic than Elimination Chamber. I don't know if anybody out there feels tentative about the card on paper, if they're as stoked as I am about the card on paper, but give it a chance, because this really is one of the best times of the year to be a wrestling fan, if for no other reason, that sense of excitement that you feel knowing that we're finally embarking on this road. Expect Antonio Cesaro to steal the show, and expect the Wyatt family and the Shield to show just exactly why they'll go down in history as 2 of the best factions in WWE history. Guys, that's been our Elimination Chamber preview and predictions. I'm John from VocalAggression. That's Ashton from Eon Izzle. Be sure to check us out for our live reactions tomorrow night, and then for our kind of post-show, a pay-per-view Twitwell review. It's going to be something. We hope to see you there.